Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Totalbiscuit, live here from E3 2012 in the great city of Los Angeles, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you Scott Thanalius. He is of many hats, but in this particular scenario, we're going to be talking about a game that you guys did the lion's share of the funding for. It goes by the name of Nekro. Hopefully you remember it if you funded it. This is a good chance to talk a little bit about it. Post Kickstarter, so Scott, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
So, I've been working in the video game industry for about 12 years now, and I've been doing a lot of different roles, and it's kind of cumulative led up to me being able to work on this Kickstarter. I've worked in technical art as an artist, as a programmer, so I've done a lot of different roles within the industry, and that's enabled me to kind of put together this game that I've been working on directly, and then with a couple of other people. So we've been really able to create a lot of stuff with that. It's been great.
Fantastic. So Nekro got off to a fairly slow start on Kickstarter. Thankfully did build up that momentum and ended up grossing, I think, 40% more than the target.
Yeah, it was like 160 out of 100, so it was fantastic. So thank you, everybody.
Now, I suppose the question is what comes next. We've heard a lot about Kickstarters, we've thrown a lot of money at Kickstarters, but we don't really know what happens after the fact. So can you give us an inside view of what happens once everything's said and done and the campaign ends?
Right. So I mean, it's interesting because it undergoes a process of like, what do we do? You know, we have the money now. How do we actually spend that money? Because we have so many people relying on us to deliver, everything we promised, and we obviously promised quite a bit, and we're going to be able to deliver on all of it. It just came to the how. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was like we went to a pre-production mode. Basically, we had our main production mode where we made the Kickstarter demo. We wanted to really, make the entire game as solid as possible. And now we're actually just taking a step back and being like, we really want to figure out how the best way to spend the budget, the best way to get the rewards done, to give everyone everything that they want. And I mean, even on our forums right now, that people are posting a ton of ideas, so we want to give them as much of those ideas as absolutely possible.
Of course, the risk is there that you enter the dreaded feature creep, and it's impossible to get them all in and get the game finished. And then, of course, you run out of money because you've only got a certain war chest to work with. So, what have you started working on now? What are the core mechanics, ideas, and systems that you're getting nailed down to build upon?
It's mainly just how we want the actual combat to take place from a minute-to-minute basis. What creatures we want to have in the game, what type of mechanics we want to interact with those creatures. It's like basically you create, you saw the Kickstarter, you create a bunch of monsters that will then go and do your business, do your bidding. And so we want to try and figure out how that's going to work. Is it, your enemy, are they very strong and there's only a few of them? Is there a ton of enemies? How do they respawn? How do they get created? It's the minutia of how the little game, the game is played from a minute-to-minute basis. So
yeah, I suppose it's a nice idea to say, hey, it's a game about summoning monsters and doing evil things, but when you get out in the nitty-gritty, how? And more to the point, how do you make it fun?
Exactly. And then we're because we have a whole overarching like a system for a map where we want to have this overworld, and then you enter into these cells and take them over to keep the world very dynamic. And that's kind of how we're paying homage to Dungeon Keeper and Giants, which is one of my favorite games.
I love Giants. Fantastic game.
It's phenomenal, yeah. And no one knows about it, too. That's the best thing.
Saddens me so damn much. It really, really does, to see what ended up happening to them after that.
Yeah, I know. I agree. But But because of that, we really want to take some of those ideas and integrate them into the game as much as possible. And I think that's basically where we're at right now, is we're really trying to just determine how we're going to do all those particular things.
Yeah, I mean, the term of crafting was brought up, which seems to be a big thing right now for whatever reason. People seem to love to craft, and there's just going to be a system of some sort within your game. Have you had any ideas about how you're going to implement that?
Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to have we love Terraria and Minecraft. I mean, God, we play the hell out of it. So we wanted a game that had crafting. And so basically, the way our crafting system works is it's based on a blood mechanic where you kill monsters and that gives you blood, and then you collect these reagents that you find within the world, and then you combine them with the blood, and then you in cauldrons, right? So you purchase these upgrades within your tower called cauldrons, and they basically, each cauldron represents a spell. So we have the Punch, which is one of the units we showed in the Kickstarter, and if you create a cauldron that has the Punch as its spell attached to it, you can then add reagents to it and then customize your unit. So our crafting system isn't so much for armor and weapons, it's actually crafting the monsters that you get to make. So you get to change their statistics and hit points and stuff like that. It's really cool, and I think it's a unique view to what's been kind of done a million times now, you know what I mean?
I suppose the question is then, can you also add cosmetic upgrades to the units, hats for the plunge perhaps?
We would love to have that. It's, again, because we're just trimming out the budget now, it's like that's the feature creep that you're talking about.
Hats? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that within the budget?
We're going to have a top hat, though, definitely. But
there'll be a second Kickstarter for the hats.
Right, it'll be a hat Kickstarter. So
that's exactly what it is.
But so the aesthetic changes are going to be on the Nekro himself. Like we already, when we hit the what was it, $150,000 goal, we said we wanted to give the female Nekro as an option. So we're going to do that now, and character customization as well. So along with that is going to come, just aesthetic. We have one of the cool ones we have right now is the meat bag, which is like this big bag of corpses you carry on your back, and you like throw corpses out of it to make punches. It's really cool. So the aesthetic changes that we have are more than just aesthetic changes. They actually affect gameplay, but they change your character and the way they look on how you play.
Now, you mentioned goals there, which was really interesting because a lot of Kickstarters now, once they reach that area, they try to set additional goals. So we can add this piece of content if we get this much money. How do you determine how much money you need to make a female Nekro or anything along those lines?
It's interesting because we have a giant design doc. The entire document is, I think, like 10 megabytes. There's just so many words on it.
Yeah.
So we have everything, every asset that we wanted in the game written out, right? And we knew that probably 70% of those assets were going to get cut because we wouldn't have time for it.
Yeah.
But within that, we had a time estimation for how long each thing would take, how much human resources it would take to create each one of those things as well. And so basically we said we would need this much money to create this much of our list, and we would need this much money to create this much of our list. So when we hit the $100,000 goal, we simply just opened up that doc and we're like, well, looks like if we get 150, we can do this.
Yeah, and then I suppose you pick the ones that you think would be the most desirable to people.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Cool. That's like a good idea. Now, you didn't get anyone that actually bought the advertising in the game, did you?
No. The top tier. Actually, I lowered it from $10,000 to $5,000.
Yeah.
I was like, it's there, so someone might as well take it.
We almost did. I mean, we really did almost buy that. It's like, this is kind of preaching to the choir just a little bit. It's like, go visit the channel that you just watched to see this video, but never mind.
Well, tell you what, we're actually going to put your website link in our webpage and in the game anyway, because you guys, you did such
We're going to have to put something on the website now. Damn it. We're going to have to get someone to work on that. Cynical Press has been doing it in like a year. It's a terrible site, but we'll get to it one way or the other. So, I mean, do you have any kind of time frame at the moment that you're shooting for?
We're going for about a year to a year and a half. I really want our company to take on the mentality of we do not ship anything until it's done. And I hate when companies do that. And I mean,
it's obnoxious.
It is obnoxious, and I get it. It's because of time, it's because of budget, and it's because of publisher pressure. But like that's why we did Kickstarter, because we didn't want to have that publisher sitting over our shoulder being like, launch it now, launch it now. Yeah. We want to go, no, we want to do it when it's ready. So naturally, we don't want to be working on this game for the next 5 years because we want to give it to our fans. We want to get that feedback. We want to.
That, and let's be honest, you can't afford it. I mean, that's the funny thing about Kickstarter is that while it's a publisher-free thing, you've got a different pressure, which is the money is gradually ticking down. This is how much money we've got. Can we wrap it up? Can we finish it to a satisfactory level before we have to start eating, let's just say, less than ramen? Once you get to the ramen level, things are getting pretty desperate. Like, wrap it up. We need a house.
I like
to live
ramen. So I'm okay with it.
Thank God for that. There we go. So at least the Kickstarter funds are going to good use with the ramen there.
Yes.
That's always good. I mean, how large is your team at the moment? Are you intending on adding anyone else, or do you have the talent you need?
So we're actually looking for about 2 more people right now: an environmental artist and a composer. Though we're talking to a couple of composers.
I have a couple of ideas for that. I can hook you up. We'll see what we're going to do.
Please do. You got my email. Definitely. Yep. So our team right now is my art director, who I work very directly with. It's me and him started and ran the Kickstarter. We had the whole idea since day one, and we were creating it. And then we have a animator, which is located, I believe, in Korea. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But he's been doing a phenomenal job. Everything in the Kickstarter was from him, and he's a really, really talented.
Something got a lot of character to the animations. That's the thing which initially attracted it to me.
Yeah, no, me too. Like, honestly, we were just like, we just brought him onto the project. We didn't know how he was going to do. The first thing we gave him was that pig. Yeah. And he sent us back the one where it was rolling in the mud and like it did this little like runny dance. I was just like, he's our guy. He's our guy. So I was super, super happy that we were able to find him and get him on the team. So yeah, we're looking for a couple more right now. we're still trying to figure out like exactly what talent we need to create this, because I can do art and programming, so I can kind of fill in gaps where is needed.
Yeah.
And obviously our art director is absolutely phenomenal, so he's able to do a lot of very direct art stuff, and he's very versatile as well. So we're trying to figure out where our best efforts are best spent in combination with somebody else as well.
Fantastic. So if there do happen to be any talented folks out there, by all means, environment artists, what's your current website that they would have to look at for the job description?
Yeah, well, the website is still under construction as of this time, but it's www.darkforgegames.com. And then if you want to check out the forums, because they're super active and coming up with ideas, it's just /forum. So.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Scott, congratulations once again on successful funding for Nekro. Looking forward to getting my mitts on it, and we'll see how it goes. And if you do need any more money, I think we might be tapped out, but I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And
not a problem at all.
You've been a great help during the whole process, so really, I appreciate it.
It's all good. I'm a bit of an egomaniac. All I really wanted was someone in game, so that's all right.
And you got your mayor now, so.
Yep, and everyone will get to kill it, and it will be a very, very cathartic thing for everyone, I'm sure. Ladies and gentlemen, developer of Nekro, we shall be seeing that sooner rather than later, thanks to you. My name's been Totalbiscuit here at E3. I will see you next time.